beat us down. They're trying to force us down into submission.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A video right here on youtube.com/NoDQ&AV. And as always, NoDQ.com, your source for the very latest in WWE and TNA. You can send in questions for NoDQ&A video at ask.fm/AaronRift. You can also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/AaronRift, and I'll answer more of your questions there. With that being said, let's get right down to the questions. First one today comes from Jonathan. With The Rock getting injured, is this a sign he is truly done now? As it would put him in too much of a risk with his movie career. That is a big question mark right now. Will The Rock's in-ring WWE career continue now? The Rock got injured at WrestleMania. He suffered a hernia, a torn adductor, and a torn abdominal muscle. And he decided not to have surgery. The Rock did not want to have surgery because by having surgery, it would postpone the filming of his upcoming Hercules movie. So The Rock is going to just gut it out and do the movie. So at least for the foreseeable future, he's done with WWE. He won't be around for several months, and who knows if he ends up getting surgery after the Hercules filming is done. That remains to be seen. You have to keep in mind that the Rock has his movie career, and he's making a ton of money, and he's a huge star. So, you know, a lot of people in Hollywood might advise him not to wrestle again because coming back and doing another match could jeopardize movie roles, and it could potentially cost the studio millions of dollars if The Rock has to postpone filming of a movie. So The Rock might have to make a big decision here as to whether or not to continue wrestling. Who knows? I mean, wrestling is in his blood, and he might want to come back and do one more match at WrestleMania 30. But I do think that we have perhaps seen the last of him, at least for this year. You know, just getting in there, The Rock has to answer other people. You know, he has the big movie deals, and there's lots of people in Hollywood he's working with in the studios and all that. So it might not be entirely his decision. He has to keep other people under consideration. So don't know what's going to happen with The Rock. Maybe we'll get one more match with him, but who knows at this point. Alright, this one comes from Charlie Clark. Hey, Aaron, love the show. After seeing the WrestleMania 29 complaint letter from a fan, do you think WWE will start listening to the fans more, especially after the reactions and chants from the crowd on Raw? Don't think so. Yeah, you guys have to keep in mind that WWE is a business, and they're going to do whatever pleases the majority of their audience, and they're going to do whatever makes them the most money. If there's a vocal minority that complains about the product, WWE might listen to them a little bit, but at the end of the day, they're going to do what they feel is best for their business moving forward. And if that means John Cena never gives up, and John Cena is the hustle, loyalty, respect, and you know, that gimmick works where he comes out there and half the crowd cheers him, half the crowd boos him, but he's still selling all the merchandise, you know, they're going to keep doing that. And I don't think that one person is going to change their minds. It would take John Cena's merchandise no longer selling and a number of things for WWE to even consider changing his character. They're not in a position where they need to be taking risks right now. I mean, it's a very different wrestling business from how it was 15 years ago during the Monday Night Wars. During that period, WWE had to take chances in order to stay in business. Right now, they are still profitable and they're doing well. So they're not gonna turn Cena heel or take any sort of what they feel is an unnecessary risk. It's just not going to happen right now. And they feel that they have their mainstream audience, and those are the people that they need to reach out to and make them happy. So, you know, unfortunately, that's just the way it is. You know, the diehard fans are going to be put aside because WWE is looking at the big picture. They're not looking at they're not going to try to make the 5 to 10% of their audience happy if it turns off, you know, the 85-90% people out there. All right, this one comes from Matthew Leichman. Do you think that WWE needs a religious gimmick? I think Dean Ambrose or Brad Maddox would be good for the job. I have heard of Bray Wyatt and his work in NXT, but until he debuts, who should play that role? They've already done a religious gimmick in the past. Dustin Rhodes, back during the Attitude Era, was doing this religious gimmick where he would pray before the matches, and he was a heel. I don't think that they're going to do something like that in this day and age. I mean, doing a religious gimmick is something that could potentially alienate some of your audience, and I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think that they're going to do something like that. I mean, when it comes to religion and politics, those are topics that you really don't want to dive into if you don't need to. And you know, WWE, I don't think wants a lot of negative publicity, and by doing a gimmick like that, you know, who knows what would happen in terms of all these people lashing out at them and giving them bad publicity. So I don't think they're going to do it. And, you know, the Dustin Rhodes thing didn't exactly light the world on fire, so I don't see the point. All right, this one comes from Scott Ward. Hey, Aaron, do you think Michael McGillicutty will ever get a push in WWE? I think he should at least get a US or IC title shot. He's one of the hardest workers in the company. Well, if you ask Bret Hart, Michael McGillicutty should be the one to end the Undertaker's streak. But you know what? I've talked about this before. I think Joe Hennig has a lot of potential, and he should be on the main roster. He should be able to go out there and just be himself. They need to ditch that name, Michael McGillicutty. Just bring him back, repackage him as Joe Hennig, and just let him do his thing. I think the guy has a lot of talent, and he could go very far if WWE just let him be himself and not try to mold him into something that he's not. And I think that's a big problem with him, that he has that name and WWE's trying to push him a certain way. Just let him do his own thing. And if they let him go out there and be himself, I think he could be a major star. This one comes from Someone XDV2. Hey Aaron, big fan. Why do you think they made Dolph Ziggler cash in the Raw after Mania? Do you like that idea, or do you think it should have been done at WrestleMania? I think it should have been done at WrestleMania. I think that you need special moments at WrestleMania, and to do it the night after Raw just tells fans that you don't even need to bother watching WrestleMania, because the likelihood is you'll see something more special the next night on Raw. So I think that that's a bad idea and a bad habit to get into, to have big events happen the night after Raw, or the night after WrestleMania, excuse me. You know, it was a special moment, a very special moment on Raw for Dolph Ziggler, and I mean, that crowd reacted to him at a level of like a Steve Austin or The Rock. I mean, it was incredible how much the people were into him. So one could argue that it was a better idea to do it on Raw, but I think he still would have gotten a huge reaction at WrestleMania. I think that crowd really wanted to see something like that, see Dolph Ziggler come out and cash in Money in the Bank. So if I had to decide or do it again, I would have done it at WrestleMania. I think that was the best place to do it. But I mean, if you weren't going to do it at WrestleMania, doing it on Raw the next night in front of that crowd was the next best thing. All right, this one comes from Justin Sawyer. Which Undertaker entrance at WrestleMania is your favorite? This year's was one of the best in my opinion. WrestleMania 14 with the Druids also set the standard. Please answer in video. Definitely this year's WrestleMania entrance was one of the best ones. I love the whole Walking Dead type feel to it, having the hands reaching out towards them. I thought that was really cool. And I like seeing those big, spectacular entrances at WrestleMania. The other one that really stands out to me was WrestleMania 25. I love that whole concept of Shawn Michaels coming down from heaven and Undertaker rising up from hell. I thought that was a really cool visual, and that was one of my favorite Undertaker WrestleMania entrances. And of course, WrestleMania 20 with Paul Bearer's voice and Paul Bearer coming out with him. I mean, that was a really special WrestleMania entrance right there. All right, this one comes from Sully. Do you think Kane will ever be a top tier or main eventer again before his retirement? I think he has great potential since his comeback with a mask, but he is getting misused by the WWE. What are your thoughts? I don't see him being a top-level guy. I don't think he will ever be in that position again. And to be honest, he never really was a guy that the company built themselves around. I mean, he was always towards the top, but never at the very top. I think when the day comes that he retires, I do think that they'll do something special with him. They'll have a farewell storyline, and he will be a focal point of Raw, or whatever. You know, something similar to what WWE did with Ric Flair several years back with the retirement storyline. I could see them doing something like that for Kane. But as far as him being, you know, at the level of John Cena or CM Punk, I think it's unlikely at this point. I just don't think that'll happen. All right, last one today comes from Luke Willick. Hey Aaron, this is a question for your next video. Do you see China going into the Hall of Fame? Well, after Bruno Sammartino winning, I think that anything's possible. You can never say never. As far as the near future, the foreseeable future, I think it's highly unlikely. As long as China's involved with the adult industry, the adult film industry, I don't think that they're going to want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. I don't think that they're going to want to get involved with that. And I could see it happening one day. Does she deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I mean, one could argue either way. She was a big star during the Attitude Era. She was the first female Intercontinental Champion. She was in the Royal Rumble. So she really did break a lot of ground for divas. I think that I would put her in. I think she does deserve to be in based on her accomplishments during the Attitude Era. But if it ever happens, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Maybe 10 years down the line it's a possibility, but certainly not anytime soon. Alright, that'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/AaronRift. Check out my cousin-in-law's band. They do the new opening song for NoDQ&A video. Check them out, facebook.com/Farouk Mosh. That's Farooq. And I'll see you guys next time for more NoDQ&A video.